I'm Angus Emmett. I'm a beef cattle producer. I live in the Channel Country of Western Queensland. Our property has been in our family now for 3 generations, and it's a pretty special part of the world out here.
The Channel Country is an area larger than the state of Victoria, whose network of rivers extend all the way down to Lake Eyre. With less than 200 millimetres of rain a year, it's some of the driest land on the continent. But once every few years, monsoons in the north send down floods that transform the environment.
It's just one of the Earth's really amazing landscapes. After a flood, it's like a huge feedlot. Cattle grazing on the floodplains, they can put on up to 2 kilograms a day, which is equivalent to a high-quality feedlot.
This boom and bust cycle sustains a $500 million clean and green beef industry.
Totally organic, and it's a huge resource for providing high-quality protein for people.
Better for the country, less environmental impact, less change. Less change is better.
But graziers like Angus and George are worried that industrial-sized change could be coming to threaten not just their livelihoods, but the whole Channel Country.
The big concern and the big unknown for all of us is this unconventional gas production, fracking in particular. There's just so many questions that we don't know the answers to in regard to that process.
Fracking is the word used to describe what the industry calls hydraulic fracturing. It's a method by which wells are drilled deep into geological formations and fluids are pumped down those wells at high pressure in order to break up the rock and free up gas deposits to make their way to the surface.
Fracking is necessary to extract the so-called unconventional gases like shale gas and coal seam gas. Conventional oil and gas extraction, whereby the fuels freely come out of the well, has happened in the area for decades. In 2015, the Queensland Government granted new exploration licences over 11,000 square kilometres of the Channel Country. And now, with an election looming, it says it'll finally honour its 2015 election promise to reinstate laws protecting the area.
We shouldn't pretend that there are no risks associated with hydraulic fracturing. We can cause changes to the amount of water that people can get from their bores. We can also cause chemical contamination through spills of wastewater in an area where you've got almost no other available water source. If something goes wrong with that water source, it's make or break for people who are living there.
We've got the world's largest organic beef systems and also huge brand names built around clean green beef. That will be affected when there's breakdowns in pollutants, etc.
To reach shale gas deposits requires drilling up to 3 kilometres down through the Great Artesian Basin, the largest connected groundwater system in the world.
Without access to good Great Artesian Basin water, most of inland eastern Australia would cease to operate in dry seasons. It's that important.
Quilpie Mayor Stuart McKenzie is also an organic beef producer, but he doesn't see what all the fuss is about.
I think people actually think there's some explosions going off underground or something. It's very low impact, in essence, high pressure water with sand.
And he says continued investment by oil and gas companies is critical to the survival of Channel Country towns.
You can't just start crossing off potential investors in the future thinking we're going to survive on what, you know?
To the east of the Channel Country in the Surat Basin, coal seam gas fracking is already a reality. And chinchilla farmer Kane Booth says the infrastructure, rather than the fracking itself, has devastated his property.
So the gas company come along and they put a pipeline in here, and it's created a rise of 600 mil, and so it shuts the water flow off. And before then, we used to get the water run right across the property, and we get a full soak, you know, and we got all our moisture that we needed. Right here is a man-made drought. We do not get the water. Totally diverted away from it.
Now the only water his property gets is the rain that falls directly on it. He says this is a stark warning for graziers like Angus and George on the equally flat Channel Country.
Organic beef is not going to be their big problem. Overland flow is going to be their big problem. If they aren't getting the water, they can't run the cattle.
Leaving a windrow 4 inches high on the edge of a road can create a diversion that diverts millions of litres of water.
And according to legal advice, standard compensation agreements are woefully inadequate for landholders, with no recourse to insurance cover for property damage. For Angus, this all adds up to one thing.
We've got something that's long-term and sustainable, and for a short-term profit, we're willing to put all that at risk. The floodplains are unique in the world. The rivers themselves are the last major desert rivers in the world that aren't seriously compromised. Why would we muck around with it? It's just crazy to muck around with it.
more information and the full statement from Queensland's Environment Minister Stephen Miles.